a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is quite a special day, and we are going young leaders in Uganda. My name, once again, Muzei Bwanika, and of course, I'm a film producer, but this time around, I'm a Yali alumnus. And with me, I have special guests. In Uganda, we do have this young leaders organization called Yali. I don't know how you could define it, but today we have an opportunity that Connect for Culture Africa space is bringing to us these young leaders to really examine who they are, what they are up to, and what is going on within Yali. And before me, my dear guest is on my right, Mrs. D. We call her Miss D. Eh? The way you hear Miss D, she has been the partnership and resource mobilizer for Yali, and I'll ask her in 1 minute to introduce herself, to say hello to our dear viewers.
Good evening, viewers. I'm Diana Awino, the outgoing partnership and resource mobilization chair for Yali Alumni Chapter of Uganda. Over to you, Muzei Bwanika.
Thank you very much. That's her. Very few words because she's used to probably making contracts. Miss D with us today has been in office for the last 3 years. And trust me, today is one of the sessions that we are going to explore her journey in office. And on my left is none other than this gentleman who is contesting for the same post. I bring you 2 special guests. One who has been in office, and on my left, somebody who is aspiring to actually take over from her. And somebody would be asking, somebody out there would be asking themselves, why in particular am I considering somebody who is serving and then an aspirant? Yes, my intention primarily was to bring you these 2 aspirants, but unfortunately one of them was not able to make it. And of course, I have this gentleman on my left, and I'll ask him in 1 or 2 minutes to introduce himself.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Atukwasi Ramadan, a Yali alumni, and contesting for the position of Partnerships and Resource Mobilization Chair of the Model Chapter of Uganda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rama. It's a pleasure having you on this space.
Thank you so much.
We are specifically calling these young leaders, and it's going to be happening often, at least on a weekly basis. Yali, this is something that Yali should take up. And but before we dive in there, Miss D, I would briefly tell us about Yali and all about this particular role. You being the partnership.
Yes,
partnership and resource mobilizer. So what is it all about, Yali? Briefly, tell us about Yali.
So Yali stands for Young African Leaders Initiative. In 2014, it was a program that was formed when President Barack Obama was in office. So in 2015, they opened the regional leadership centers in Senegal, Nairobi, South Africa, and Ghana. So the alumni chapter of Uganda belongs to the leadership center in Nairobi. So what happens in young leaders are selected for leadership training in business, in public management, or civic engagement. They undergo a 4 weeks training in Nairobi. Then upon their return home, they come and implement whatever they've learned. So the alumni chapter of Uganda is a registered entity, a registered company by guarantee, with over 680 alumni. We have a vision to become a benchmark of community transformation through collaborative leadership and youth empowerment. And our values include connecting people, taking initiative, creating opportunities, and thriving together. So my role as the Partnerships and Resource Mobilization Chair was to ensure the chapter, link the chapter to resources, both internally and externally. So as Yali, we have a 5-year strategic plan which we made in office to make sure we achieve our vision over the next 5 years. And this strategic plan was launched to the alumni community. And one of the things which was to ensure our sustainability was through the Yali Leadership and Mentorship Academy.
Thank you very much. Given that background, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted us to have a perspective of what Yali is. So when we are speaking about Yali, we all know what Yali is. And this is a time when Yali is headed for a transition of leadership. So we are having candidates like Comrade Rama who are vying for these different offices. And this time round, we are trying to ensure that at least everybody, the country at large, is aware of what is happening with the young leaders. Back to you, Comrade Rama. What do you do? You didn't tell us about what you do. What do you do, and how do you join Yali?
Thank you so much, Comrade Wanika. So I can say my 9 to 5 job is procurement director at Banana Life Investment. The job that opens me directly to work with partners of different sides, from government, from private entities, and more. So I joined Yali in 2020. Unfortunately, it was during COVID-19, and our cohort was online. But since then, we have seen tremendous change in our communities. I've been able to implement very many things from the idea I got from the training. I started up an NGO called Boundless Lives International that is changing communities from the core to the core, from east to west. So briefly, I can say Yali training has been much more beneficial to me and more other alumni towards creating a transformable change in the community.
And now talking about this change that Yali has done to you, I am aware, or we are aware, that most of these alumni actually had to go to Nairobi to the Yali Leadership Learning Center, which is closing. I hear it is closing. I don't know, Ms. D could guide us. So that takes me to, given these kind of benefits, given this transformation journey that you are experiencing as a Yali alumni, Ms. D, over to you. How dependent is the Yali Uganda chapter to the Yali Nairobi LLC Center?
Okay, to talk about the closing of the center,
Yeah.
the Yali program was under the USAID funding, which ceased because of the change in priorities of American government. So what does that mean? That means, per now, unless nothing changes, there will be no more new cohorts.
Oh.
And that's why, as a chapter, we are saying we are launching our Leadership and Mentorship Academy so that we continue serving the youth. We have seen how this program has been beneficial to us. So that's one of our sustainability plans as a chapter. So how dependent have we been? Upon graduation, would come and join the alumni chapter of every country. These chapters were set up by the Yali Leadership Center. So basically, they have been providing oversight to the alumni. They were like you see, a parent. So oversight in leadership, if you had questions, if you needed clarity, so they were a go-to person. And then also additionally, they had a grant which they were running, which they're calling the Transformation Fund, also from USAID. With this grant, they would give it to country chapters and also to some alumni to implement their projects. So because this funding has also stopped, that's also affected. But the chapter is still very strong. It has a very strong sustainability plan, and we can survive beyond the USAID funding and the center.
So to our dear listeners, the American government ceases funding to the USAID programs, and Yali is one of the affected programs that there is no more funding for the Young African Leaders Initiative, especially in, I think it's across Africa?
Yes.
Across Africa. So we are victims of circumstances. And now, Ms. D has been operating as the Partnership and Resource Mobilization Chairperson at a time that Yali has been getting funding from USAID. Right now as we speak, Comrade Rama wants to enter the same office when Yali has lost its major and key sponsor, Comrade Rama. It puzzles me. Just in case Yali decides and members elect you into office, are you aware of what awaits of you when Yali no longer has any funding?
Yes, that is very true. I'm aware that what awaits me is not only a challenge, but an opportunity that is going to push me to drive locally driven solutions to cover that funding gap. There's no, there's no, um, there's no disagreement that USAID has been playing a major part in this whole thing. But now that it has gone, what are we going to do? This is the time we have to step up as alumni, as people who have gotten that training, to be able to make this whole thing sustainable and meaningful.
Rama, yes, we as alumni have to do this thing. Let's talk about Rama. What are you? Are you aware of the challenge that awaits? I know you're a busy guy. You have so many responsibilities at your hand. Now, you say it is no longer funding the Yali program. Are you aware of what awaits of you? Just in case the alumni decide and they say, Rama, you're our next chairperson. Are you aware of the challenges? And how are you going to go about it?
Yes. I'm aware of the challenges that await me, and this is my plan.
Okay.
I'm looking out to develop local-based approaches to be able to cover that funding gap. I'm looking out to initiate. I have a plan of initiating Yali Power Fund that is going to collect or be the center of collection of Yali voluntary contributions and welfare, so that each alumni, because at this point of time it is very necessary. There's no way we can skip it. USAID has gone and we cannot close. So I'm going to be a spearhead of those initiatives that are meant to make sure that this chapter keeps striving and impacting communities.
This brings me to ask, the chapter has been so dependent on the USAID funding, Rama. And from Miss D's words, because I really want us to have a perspective of the serving officer.
Maybe I can put into perspective.
Please.
The secretariat funding from the center was to create structures.
Okay.
Enable you have a strategic plan. Enable you have a financial management plan. Enable you have a procurement, everything. So to put all those structures in place. So that's what the funding was meant for. So with that funding, we used it to put everything in, to make us look an organization that meets most of the criteria in place to get funding from people beyond the center.
So you mean to say,
Yes.
now, right now as we speak, Yali has the audacity to speak as an independent organization,
Yes.
lobby its own funding. Mr. Ron, are you aware of these initiatives? And how are you relating at a personal level? How have you familiarized with these kind of structures? What is it there? What do you see as a person?
Well, what I'm seeing as a person is we have been, okay, let me bring it this way. We have been babies breastfeeding. And now it's a time we have reached a point and we are no longer breastfeeding. No, we cannot run, of course. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find any way that is going to enable us get something to eat. And that is why I'm coming in as the chairperson of the resource mobilization.
Okay.
I want to establish the channels that are going to make sure that we get something to eat because the mother is no longer there. These channels include, we're looking at Yali let's say the yearly talks or trainings that alumni can offer or the chapter can organize, and people who are coming to it pay some small money. We're also having a plan of yearly academy that is going to be having some subscription fee attached to it for sustainability, because now the mother is no longer there. And we also have, we're going to mobilize, I'm going to mobilize my fellow alumni. We collect some kind of a contribution from cohort. It can be 1,000, it can be 2,000, it can be 5,000, with the purpose of making it something that can feed us while the mother is away. This is going to be in a systematic way, starting with from adding value to the alumni.
What if they don't comply?
Yes, that's why we're here. We are leaders. This whole thing needs someone who is innovative, creative, and powerful, and that is me. So I'm going to make sure that they see the value of committing to that.
Talking about a person that is very powerful and influential, Miss D, kindly, before you joined office, what were your goals? And kindly, would you mind sharing with us some of the big, probably it could be one, some of the biggest challenges that you've encountered in this office?
Okay, joining, why did I really run for leadership? One was to ensure the chapter had resources in a sustainable way, not one-off. Like structured, you have your plan, we set out to do this, we raise resources for it, then we do it. So that's really why I ran for office, and that's what I had in mind. So what was some of my biggest challenges? The first one was mainly the internal resource mobilization. So if you were to look at the Yali alumni demographics, when we did a strategic plan, they did an interview, and when you look at that, only 16% of the alumni are in full-time employment. 13% are not employed, 23% are in short-term contracts, and then about 8% are just transitioning. And yet, the Yali alumni, considering how the chapter is structured, the Yali alumni are very strong source for revenue, because we're a growing organization. And then now when you would move to other partners and you ask for partnerships, the first thing they would ask you, what are you bringing? And this has been shaped mainly by the NGO space in this country. Most NGOs had grants, and then they are looking for like other institutions to implement with them. So when you go, people look at you, you have money you are bringing for us, money. So people do not want to look via other things you can offer. Like, for example, as Yali alumni, our strength was our skills, our time to volunteer. And then also, if you notice, with most of also the organizations, they had very many bureaucracies. So it was easier to do activity-based partnerships. You find, like today how we are here, you find an organization which is already doing something, and then if they see what you are doing fits into them, it was easier for them to partner with you. But that's not very sustainable. When that activity ends, it's like the partnership has also closed. But of course, that does not stop things with now us having a structure in place, with the visibility we have with the website there, the visibility of the alumni, and then also we have been building on what other excos have been doing. I think Yali we are handing over a very good chapter. Yali is in a good place to really get resources. What I can say.
And now, Rama, we've had these challenges, and probably By the time she joined, those were her goals. I would want to borrow from you. What are some of the goals as to why you're actually vying for this position? But before that, we hear, I think 23 are permanent. I
23 are people just between contracts.
Contracts.
The ones who are permanently employed are 16%.
16% of the alumni, Rama,
Yes.
are permanently employed.
And that was before the American changed its foreign aid policy. So even the unemployment rate could have gone lower.
So now, Rama, and this is the issue. From your submission, you're talking about, trying to have contribution from the alumni, but you're looking at 16%, which might have even gone lower. What do you make meaning of this? And why? Why are you joining? Why are you vying for this office in particular?
Thank you so much. I'm vying for this office most particularly to to contribute to a chapter financial base, have a sustainable resource base that is going to keep the chapter moving regardless of the donors available or not available. That is my whole point of joining. Make sure that the chapter has the funds, because we have seen sometimes when we have an event and we have to collect from our alumni, and this time around I would love to approach this differently. We have a fund, a Yali Power Fund, where we're going to solicit some funds, regardless of the channel. It can be internal and external. And that fund is having enough money that in case of an activity or in case of an event by alumni, we just use that. Okay, we can also run timely fundraisers like we have been doing, but at least we have something to add up to. Now, the whole point is having a financial free Yali chapter.
Yeah, I hear you loud. And, I want us to walk away from the point of politics into leadership. I want to make meaning of what you're saying. I'm finding it hard. The fund you're talking about, where is the money that is going? Where is the money going to come from? I heard of Yali Kos, the Yali Sako.
Yes.
It's an initiative that personally I wasn't. I didn't want to be part of it, but it's a good initiative, and you could see the progress they are making.
Yes.
You see, I'm very interested, and because when we are talking about the leaders, we are talking about Yali in general. We are not talking about the few that are probably lucky to sit on the table on the serving table. Where is the money coming from? Now that you say it is gone, we are talking about the fund, because we need to face the brutal fact that majority of the alumni are not employed permanently. How are you fusing? How are you bridging the space? I don't see where the money is coming from, Ram.
Okay. Have you heard about a statement that goes, "I'll be the voice of the voiceless"?
Okay.
I have an experience in fundraising. I've run several fundraisers on Give, Go, Send. I run fundraisers on Muchanga, that's a Kenya-based thing. I've run fundraisers on Global Giving. So this is where I'm going to bring my expertise in. I'm going to sit down. Good enough, we have been in existence. Most of these organizations require you to be in existence for over 2 years. We have surpassed that, and that is a plus. That is a beginning point. That is step one. So we're going to sit down with my colleagues, with my EXCO, with the fellow EXCO, and the organizing committee of the partnership, and sit down and write those proposals, run broad drives. Because I'm talking from experience, I have collected over 10 million from a drive on Muchanga. That is verifiable. So you can share the same experience. I can bring it to Yali. get Yali and open up a portal on global giving, give, send, go, and run for those impactful projects, and trust me, they'll fund it.
No.
Apart from that, we are going to utilize internal sources. We have seen alumni organizing events, ice cream making, what is that? Ice cream making, tomato sauce making, and people are contributing, paying for it. What if we work with those alumni, collaborate, and make it bigger? So that we, as a Yali, in partnership with an alumni, are organizing an event about sausage making or tomato sauce making. And there's some small subscription fee for the trainees. Then some money is used to cover the current expenses, and some money is going to the Yali Power Fund. Understand? Yes, so that is, apart from that, there is also these government projects or government funds that are specifically focusing on youth. Yali is a whole, is a big, over 600, over 800. We qualify for those initiatives that the president and the government start. We can utilize the Yali circle and acquire some funds from the government that is going to help our alumni who are not, okay, our alumni in entirety, and those who have and those who do not have will all benefit. That is adding value to our alumni.
Now, Rama, you've heard what Ms. D has presented. What do you think that she didn't do during her tenure? What do you think she hasn't done, because she's still in office?
She has done a lot that we cannot deny.
What do you think she hasn't done?
So what I've seen that she has not done is tapping in those opportunities. I've not seen Ms. D write or put up a fundraiser on global giving. I've not seen Ms. D and they go to Balam to ask about maybe the youth fund, and that is something we're trying to implement. This is because we have no option. It's either us, and we are mobilizing our resources from the grassroots, or we are no more because our parent is not there.
Ms. D.
Yes.
What is it that you think you would have done? Is there anything you think, okay, probably this is something I would have done?
Okay. To answer that would have been, because if you look at Yali, we are actually a network. So every alumni is like a conduit to a partner, to somebody who can bring in money. So I was not able to tap into that energy. But I think now the chapter is in a good place to, like, everyone can bring this. I know this person, I can link the chapter here, because we are really a network. And then also another thing we were really pushing for was to have, how they call it, because our strength is leadership. So having a paid for leadership course where people who want to study leadership can pay a small fee and have that course, but it's also work in progress. That's why we are with the training institution of MOOBs. We want to see where that really ends. But that would really, for us to have a training program fully certified, paid for, people apply and get it, it's something good for the chapter. And since really our brand is leadership. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And this brings me, because Rama, Ms. D presents an idea of openness to the ideas. And then it brings me to a question. When did these ideas come into your head of helping Yali do a fundraising, what you will do? When did they come into your head?
Well, I cannot say particular time. Ever since I acquired that training from Nairobi, my brain was sharpened to see what we can do for the community. So at that state, yearly funding, okay, the funds in the chapter were not enough. Okay, this has been witnessed several times. We want to do an event in Kasese and
No funds.
No funds.
So that answers my question that these ideas didn't come yesterday. You had them. Why didn't you share with the current EXCO? Why didn't you share with the current partnership and resource mobilizer? Because if you had done, if you had reached out, we would say, okay, you really wanted to serve. Why? Is it on a condition that you can only have them when elected into office?
No, that is not a condition. That I only serve when I'm elected into office. I've been serving.
No, but you didn't. You've presented. Rama has presented good ideas, and I think I need those online. Thank you very much for tuning in, Jackson, Sis, Gina, and Chantel, Irene. Thank you very much. We appreciate your energy online. And right now, with my colleague Rama, it comes to my concern. He has just presented very wonderful ideas, very brilliant ideas. And I really need to know, on behalf of all the alumni, why did you share those ideas with her when she was in office?
Oh, I think I've worked with Miss D on several occasions ever since she took office.
Yeah.
And these ideas have been coming up. But as a chapter, there is always a work plan and a strategic plan that the implementation of some project is following. So maybe at that time it was not a viable option to go for. But right now, since I have, okay, once I'm elected into office, I can get all the powers and see how I can, because, okay, not even having the power, there's no other option. It's a do or die. So at this point of time, we have to explore everything from the ground that is going to make us sustainable, that is going to make us thrive as a chapter. And of course, empowering the alumni inclusively. Because when you get the money from whatever donor it is, from whatever, let's say, gifts go send, we're not going to benefit Rama, we're not going to benefit only Bwanika, it's going to benefit everyone in the chapter.
JF Chantel says the yearly power fund sounds powerful already. Go Rama, I think she's on your side. And Jackson, I think he was laughing at Chantel. And then thank you, NCC, for the wonderful platform. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you for tuning in. And we appreciate, we always remember your service, Jackson. And he says our Rama. I think he also supports you. I don't know. And then Jenna says Rama is presenting strong points that will make Yali stronger. And of course, yes, I appreciate the points that you're trying to bring about. And I would want to ask, at a personal level, Rama, would you, if you're not in office, still have the guts to push this agenda?
Oh, well, I think...
And what wouldn't you have if you're not in office to push the same agenda?
I think I can answer, I can leave the online audience to answer the question because they have witnessed ever since, okay, my colleague, I remember I contested before, and ever since my colleague took office, I've been working hand in hand with EXCO, be it traveling to Apache, securing those strategic partners, action aid, be traveling to Masindi, be traveling to where, or being running alumni-based fundraisers in WhatsApp group. I've been there. So that does not require me to be in office to be able to support the chapter. Even if I've not been in an office of the chapter, I've been so supportive and people can witness. All this information is verifiable.
All right, thank you very much, Rama, for that.
Maybe before we leave that,
yeah.
I wanted to leave as an EXCO. We really wanted to be very strategic in our partnerships. And as you can see, the terrain now, people have fatigue in giving. So we are like, we want to push one big thing, and that's something which will outlive us. That's why we put all our energy on the Yali Leadership and Mentorship Academy. We want money for it, we are fundraising for it, and that's what we really want to push. We want people to give us that. We wouldn't want run for this. We didn't want to fatigue our donors with small things, yet we are looking at catching the big fish.
Okay, and now that you're bringing that, how would you recommend, given the previous power handover, how would you recommend the power handover this time in Yali? Is it something, looking at the previous handovers, is it something, was it a vision shared, passed on to the next set of leaders? How are you going to pass on that kind of vision to the next set of leaders?
Okay, all this is in the strategic plan. So it's a 5-year strategic plan taking us from 2024, I think, until 2028. Okay. So that's the document we are going to hand over. And then on top of that, the Yali Leadership and Mentorship Academy has our own concept note for it. And then we are handing over the whatever we would have gotten from the fundraising to the next exco to kickstart the first cohort of the Yali Leadership and Mentorship Academy.
Ms. D,
so,
we are having an issue. President Trump changed everything.
Yes.
And because you're telling us about the strategic plan of 2024 probably to 2028.
Yes.
And, you know, at the back of the mind, we have leaders who will come into office with their own mindset. Are you, how are we going to immunize this transition from that kind of distortion? Won't the strategic plan be trashed?
The strategic plan will not be trashed because the development of it was very consultative. Every alumni was involved, the regional clusters, the cohort heads. So if you are to read the strategic plan, it speaks to every alumni, our issues and where we want to be. And if even you look at these people's manifestos, they all fit into what they are planning to do, fits into what was put in the strategic plan. So I don't think it's a document which will be trashed. Because it's Yali, it was made by the alumni, following all the processes. And our issues are there and where we want to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Friday, I'm going to bring to you the president of Yali. Yes. Mrs. Faith Myra, we are going to be having Mrs. Faith Myra this Friday, God willing, inshallah. And probably that is the strategic plan is something that we need to discuss completely with Mrs. Myra. And still about the strategic plan, Rama, just in case you're elected into office, besides for starters, are you aware of the strategic plan?
Yes.
What is in the strategic plan that really speaks to you as an alumni?
The Yali Academy.
Yes.
And how we can collect funds on our own. Okay, that strategic plan was, like she said, was built on upon deep consultation. It was built on principles of what if tomorrow the funder is not available. So there are specific channels that were put, and in case this and this goes like this, then we can do this to be sustained.
You were consulted, or you were part of the development?
As consulted as an alumni.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you read the final report?
Yes, they shared everything, and we read.
No. I'm asking you, not we. Have you read?
Yes, I've read.
You've read the strategic plan.
Yes.
And what do you make meaning of it? What are the mistakes? What are the gaps in the strategic plan?
Oh, like
you know why I'm interested in the gaps? Of course, I know the beautiful things in the strategic plan. You will tell us. It will help us. What are the gaps that you're going to fill in the strategic plan?
Well, like any other document or like any other thing that has been built under some kind of an umbrella. Let's say this was when you said it was still funding. There are those gaps that you said was filling in. So those are the gaps. The overall, the strategic plan cannot be trashed, but it's going to be updated to remove those gaps that you said was filling in.
So that's your take. You're not rushing, but
we're updating it so that it can fit the current situation of us being off our mothers.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's on condition that Yali decides. Because at the end of the day, if you decide otherwise, we have no power of whatever Comrade Rama is presenting to us. You're welcome, Madam Eva Namakula. Yes, we recognize your presence online. And she said, my candidate, relax. I am here for you now. Hey, so I'm only having one candidate, probably she's talking to Rama. And Patrick Sevintu has tuned in. You're welcome, Mr. Sevintu. We appreciate your presence on here. We are having the current partnership and resource mobilization chairperson, Yali, Uganda chapter, and one of the aspirants of the same office. So we are trying to weigh between the current Yali chapter and probably the Yali chapter that we all envision to have as Ugandans. And this is a reminder to all of us. Tomorrow, we are going to have some of the candidates that are ready to have the hot seat. Spare those that can't afford the hot seat. We are going to have some of the candidates vying for the position of chairperson, Yali. Come and meet us face to face, one-on-one. So please, tomorrow, Tuesday at 8 p.m., tune in. We shall be having our comrades share their experiences with us. To our online audience, we appreciate so much for your patience and tuning in for this wonderful Yali program. Yali is a very wonderful program. It is something that has to interest each and every Ugandan, young people most especially. And probably, Miss D, from the submissions made by Rama, he mentioned something that is very pertinent, something that is very key. We've heard of funds for the youth. For instance, Ministry of Gender is in charge of youth, and that's why we have Honorable Balam, and they've been giving out money. Why didn't you ever think of trying to get this kind of funds? Didn't you like to partake of this money in any way? Because I know, of course, Yali has been there for quite some time. What really stopped you from? Did the American embassy stop you from getting the money? Why didn't you take up this money? It is something that we need to also throw some.
Okay, the way I can answer that is most times I know most fundings have their terms and conditions. So for these government funds, I didn't take time maybe to understand what are they giving it for, how does Yali, how can Yali benefit from it? Maybe it's something, it's an opportunity for the next leadership to take it up. Because even as we made the strategic plan, we had to, under strategic objective 2, it was sustainably source funding and resources to advance alumni chapter ideologies, programs, and goals. So we want enhanced strategies and partnerships for resource mobilizations and funding opportunities, and then support alumni acquiring resources and funds. So maybe the chapter might not even be in position to get this funding, but we have alumni community. So how can the chapter support them to get those funds? Maybe I think it's really an opportunity for the incoming EXCO.
Okay, thank you very much. You're talking about what the chapter needs to do for the alumni.
Yes.
From your experience during your term of service, what is it that the alumni should do for the chapter in the perspective of partnerships and resource mobilization?
Like I had earlier mentioned, we are a network. So alumni can support the chapter in 2 ways. One, linking the chapter to other partnerships, and then also contributing their own resources, and then also volunteering their time and skills. Alumni, like we have a diverse community of alumni with skills, with different experiences. So if they can also lend that to the chapter in fundraising, in resource mobilization, like they be ambassadors of the Yali brand. Take Yali into your space. also come into our space. So I think that would really ensure the chapter has resources, because we are what? We are 860, over 860. So we have those partnerships, we have those networks, and let's contribute where we can to support the chapter.
All right, thank you very much. To our online audience, we are yet to enter into the Q&A online session. So please get set with your questions. You can as well type them in the comment section. We will be able to receive your comments, and probably our officers, our officer and the aspirant may be in position to answer those questions. So back to my comrade Rama, talking about the number of the alumni being in 800, and the WhatsApp group, by the way, the Yali WhatsApp group is around 600 something. Which means there are some alumni that actually do not have an opportunity to have this kind of information. What is it that you can do differently to ensure that all alumni can basically benefit from these kind of programs?
First of all, it all starts with us. Sustainability of the chapter starts with the sense of ownership and engaged alumni. This is a very common issue that most of organizations or leadership training schools have the problem with catching up with the alumni. But this is what we're going to do. An alumni will only be engaged if he or she feels that she's valued or he is valued. So my approach is basically to lay down strategies that can specifically add value to the Yali alumni, regardless of their status. So this is what we're going to do. I envision to have, I have a plan of holding these monthly meetups, or it can be a monthly meetup, it can be a visit, so that you visit alumni this side and visit alumni their side, you visit alumni their side, and also matchmaking, that this alumni from this angle is meeting with alumni from this angle. And that's what we are bringing together. We are promoting togetherness of the alumni. And once they are all united, they can be able to engage effectively.
Mr. Rama, I hear you loud. Of recent, or in the past, there have been allegations of a group of alumni that have capped the resources that have been probably given out by the chapter. Is it something you've paid at? Is it something that has come to your ears in any way?
To be honest, no.
No.
I haven't heard about it. And every alumni at the chapter is equally served. If there is a call for transformation fund, everyone can apply.
Mr. Rama, when you go to the group of 600 alumni, you may find that it's the 20% that is usually active, and probably when you try to pay attention to those that are silent and find out why some of them are even intimidated to speak out, I'm asking a direct question. If you haven't heard about it, there is a claim, an allegation, that there is a group of alumni that have capped the resources of the chapter. How are you going to deal about that? You knowing about it and you not knowing about it. How are you going to make sure that resources, even that Kamolian, that alumni who never says a word, benefits from this kind of resources?
Our priority is, my priority is to have an inclusive strategy that is going to facilitate everyone, regardless of which, like you said, which Kamol, what is that, and to make sure that they are all brought to the table. If it requires me taking an extra step and reaching out to that person specifically, I will do that. because I understand the power of the alumni that is engaged. I understand the power of the chapter that has an alumni that are active. So I'll do whatever I can in my way and outside my way to make sure that every alumni is engaged at a particular time, and that we are all united. Okay, there may be challenges, there may be differences here and there, but we're going to lay a strategy down to find out what could be the issue. Why is this person in Kamori? Why does this person feel intimidated in the first place? Because the WhatsApp group is a free space. Anyone can talk. You understand? Yeah, so that is my vision to see. And most of the people, by the way, most of the alumni on the group, and they cannot talk because they don't see the value of talking. So what if we explore ways to make sure that that person sees the value? I envision to make sure that my approaches add a value to an ordinary alumni.
You talked about the strategy of having to include everyone, and I'm sorry, I wasn't. I was waiting for the strategy, at least an example of the strategy. Please give us a hint, because you're talking to an alumni, and I'm interested to ensure that any alumni out there needs to understand that probably the Rama I am seated with here, first and foremost, was brave enough to dare this seat to come and have these questions fired to him. That's a credit given to you, by the way. Thank you very much for not chickening out to come onto my shows, because I know what to expect. I want an alumni that is out there, have the confidence that the Rama that is seated here, if given into office, would probably look for them from the Kamori, wherever they are, and probably give them some of the resources that are available.
Okay, thank you so much. So one of my strategies is to have an open communication channel to make sure that an alumni who's there can easily access Rama or anyone of the EXCO. We're going to make it as friendly as it can, so that no one is intimidated or no one feels intimidated at any point of time. And our alumni in the diaspora, we are going to lay a communication channel and have that close contact with them to see what favors them, how can we engage with them, and what is the best way we can do together. This is us. We are together. And us being together meaning we can solve any problem within us together. So that is what I plan to deploy.
Thank you very much to our dear audience online. Yes, Gina, yes, where did I stop? Okay, JF Chantel, I believe, with or without a title, Rama is the man. Did you mobilize your colleagues to be online tonight?
No.
And then, but there are some things you do better as an EXCO member, given the assurance that comes off to some of the big funders that have systems in place. Thank you, Chantel. I think that is well noted off. And Ivan Amakula, my candidate, okay, I did read that. Patrick Sevintu, once again, thank you for tuning in. Ivan Amakula, that's true. So active and supporting all the cluster activities. I think it's a testimony from Ivan Namakula. Thank you so much. And Gina, Yali will decide Rama. Go Rama. Oh, okay. And Shami Wings, thanks very much. Shami Wings is a usual suspect here. And Irene Namata. Yes, Irene Namata, these creatives that usually tune into our channels. Thank you very much for tuning into the Yali program. And I think it is also something that you need to interest yourselves in to understand. Probably there is so much to learn when you start rubbing shoulders with young leaders. And those are our online participants. And yes, we do have 6 minutes to go. And in the 6 minutes that we are left with,
for the next question,
okay.
I wanted to put a disclaimer.
Yes.
As someone on EXCO,
yes,
you are talking from an informed point of view of saying money is capped for a few active alumni. So I'm coming to
I was actually coming to you over the same thing. Yes.
I'm coming to disregard that.
Yes.
So as a chapter in our leadership, we received 2 rounds of visibility fund. Phase 3, phase 4. The call was sent out, the criteria was sent out, and then we share semi-finalists with the embassy. So the finalists are now chosen by the embassy, and those are the people we award. So every alumni who puts in a proposal is taken through the same criteria and ranked. Then the semi-finalists are chosen, shared by the embassy, who now
Is that the position of the partnership and resource mobilizer, or the position of the EXCO?
It's the position of the EXCO.
Thank you very much. According to the EXCO, we can ably confirm that there is no cap, there is no group that is taking advantage of the resources within Yali. And I think this is something that we are yet to find out, and we are yet to witness to when we see other alumni from the Kamoli that nobody knows about benefiting from these resources. And I also wish to encourage my fellow alumni. If you are a beneficiary of this kind of privileges, please come out. Come out and speak out that probably I am a beneficiary. Sometimes when these calls are sent out, some of you deliberately remain in the Kamoli. I think it is high time we took this by the neck and probably try and take advantage of each and every opportunity that comes at hand. Let's not fear to speak out. Let's try and engage in each and every activity. So back to you, Ms. D. I'm glad you answered the question before it even came to you. I think the fire was you were sitting on fire. So
no, I had to correct that misinformation.
Now, coming to you, Ms. D. You know, we've engaged at length even before this particular time. What do you think? What's next for the chapter and the elections? What advice would you give to the voters and the participants, especially for this party? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is another disclaimer. We are not endorsing Rama in any way for this show. We are not endorsing Rama. It is Yali that decides. So when I ask Ms. D to a word or to the voters, because we don't want the alumni to say a group sat and decided whatever they decided. We would want every alumni to take part in these elections. And that's why, from the point of view, I'm trying to engage Ms. D. What kind of advice do you pass on to the general alumni fraternity and to the candidates themselves? Thank you.
Okay, first, my advice is going to go to the alumni community. One, they should interest themselves with Yali, not only during elections, not only, how they call it, the entitlement, but they should really interest themselves with Yali. And really, if you love Yali, go read the strategic plan. It's us, like it has all where we want to be, all our issues, how some people feel left out, what can we do about it, everything is in there. And then, please vote. If you don't vote, you even have no right to complain. So yes, go vote your leaders, and when you vote them, please support them. Support them to achieve where you want to go. And then also to the candidates, yes, look for the votes in a respectable way. When voted, do whatever you are supposed to do. At the end of the day, the alumni community, we are stronger together when we are united than maybe pushing your own personal interest. Like, you should just have that wisdom to choose between yourself and then a united alumni community. Sometimes if you feel maybe something would divide the alumni community, personally, I think it's better for us to have a united alumni community against any other individual agendas or anything.
Thank you very much, Ms. D. To our audience, before I get back to Rama, this is something very interesting. I think that message was spot on. To our online audience, I would wish to Doreen and Clara, you're also welcome. You're Rama wa Fibanang, Rama, please. Jeff Chantel, good submission, Miss D. Thank you, Miss D, from Chantel. And then Chantel, you have done as well. Then Doreen, well done, Diana, Miss D. And then Asasila Patience, you're welcome. A combination of Rama and Hakiza. Voila, your sky is just the start. This is not a campaign platform, but thank you for the compliment. And then, did John get an invite? Who is Akiza? Yes. Yes, there is a question here. Did John get an invite? Yes, I did invite John to the show. Unfortunately, he said he was in Mbarara. He couldn't manage to be part of the show. And like you know me, I tried to ask him for an alternative date, and he said he couldn't even commit to any other date. So I'm sorry, John couldn't be part of us, neither even giving an alternative date. So I'm sorry, John, that's what's all about John. And then Asasla Patience, where is he? No, I think, who is Akiza? Somebody is asking, who is Akiza? Chantel, stop the violence. And then Buanika Charles the First, my namesake, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And then he says, bring more candidates in that hot seat, bro. Yes, sure. I am yet to bring in those guys in here. Rama, march on with your head high to the elections day and beyond. I think that's a word from Buanika Charles the First. I think many people mistake me with Buanika Charles the First. Buanika Charles the First, irrespective of being the first, is my kid brother. He's my young brother. So I am Muzei Buanika. And then Chantel, Sotro Miss D. We are stronger as a united alumni community. Now, as we conclude, this is our time. Rama, before we even come to the conclusion, there are so many messages on the platform of Yali. You know, you can hardly read a single message. It is so messed up during the election time. You candidates, what advice do you send to your electorate, to your fan base? These messages are so outrageous. I actually failed to read a single manifesto of a single individual. What is your take on this as we conclude in 1 minute?
Well enough, you said this is more much during the campaign time. Yeah. So my advice would be, okay, you can send those messages, as many as you want, but let's maintain respect, dignity for everyone on that platform.
All right, thank you very much for that. And what is your commitment? Ron, I would want, and you know, I will hold you accountable. You ask the current exco. What is your commitment? John, I don't have John to make a commitment, comrades. I have Rama. So I will want to have Rama's commitment in regards to the service that he's vying for, just in case Yali decides. Make that commitment, Ram.
Do I need to swear?
No, we will take your word. We are going to have this recording on record. We are having the live stream on record, and we will extract it in due time. What is your commitment?
So my commitment to my fellow alumni is to serve Yali with dignity, transparency, and urgency. I believe it starts with me as a leader to, whether I hold a title or not, to be able to deliver to the expectations of the fellow alumni. So vote Rama, vote the voice of transparency and high-speed service delivery.
Thank you very much. That has been Rama for your case. And right at this moment, in 1 minute, allow me, you know, we have an officer, one of our leaders here, so I think I'll give her a chance to close after the aspirant, because the aspirant can't speak last when we have an officer. So, Misty, in 1 minute, as we close, kindly your word to the Yali fraternity and probably to the Ugandan young people out there listening to us, please.
So, one word to the aspirants and to the young people out there. It's good to put yourself out to serve. These 2 years, I've learned a lot. I've grown. The growth I wouldn't have achieved if I had not put out myself to serve. So everyone out there, don't fear to run for elections. Serve. It will benefit you as an individual. It will also benefit your community. And then if you are not standing, please vote. Yeah, vote for your candidates so that you will have a right to complain. Thank you.
Thank you very much to my dear colleagues from Yali and our dear fans. Thank you very much for tuning in to the young leaders. And this time round, Yali decides. I've been Mosei Wanika with Miss D and aspirant Rama. Please stay tuned. Tomorrow, we are bringing you another set of aspirants. Tomorrow, it's going to be another hot seat. Those that have decided to take off the seat, tomorrow, 8 p.m., trust me, it's going to be hell. Not fire, but hell. Yes, Mzee Wanika is my name, and let's stay tuned on Young Leaders.